Hey everybody, I'm Natalia Bonner. Welcome to the 9 Patchalong 5.0. This is block number 6's live follow-up video. So after you finish quilting today's block, we only have 3 more blocks. So if you're like me and you're quilting through your panel, after today you can finish your sashing between the next set of blocks, your border over on the left side of the quilt, and you'll be ready to start quilting the final row. It's always so crazy. It's like 9 days seems like a long time, but then we start these 9 Patchalong classes and 9 days seems to just fly right on by. So yeah, we are today with block number 6. So on block number 6, we focus on using the Sway 3 and Sway 4 machine quilting rulers. And we'll get to the quilting in just a minute, but I thought it would be fun to start today with just a couple of questions and then we'll get right to that quilting.
First question here is the stitching isn't quite as easy to see on the live videos as compared to the lessons. Can you explain that a little bit?
Okay, that's a great question. In these live follow-up videos, these are 100% intended just to be a fun place to hang out, maybe catch a few extra tips and tricks, wave to some of your friends down there in the chat. These are not the full lesson videos. You need to go enroll in the class, the 9 Patchalong 5.0, on our website, peaceandquilt.com. In your classroom dashboard, you will find the lesson videos, and they're being released as this live launch happens. So now the first 6 lessons are available. Tomorrow, number 7 will be released, and so on. But in there is where you'll find the full lesson videos, and in those full lesson videos, we are sharing close up of the machine quilting, and I'm showing you exactly how I do what I do. So this live video is just a fun hangout. I do not expect this to be like, and now I know exactly how to quilt my block because I watched the live. You need to go watch the lesson video. Did you have any more questions?
No, I thought it was funny. April said that her husband watches these live with you just to see what classes you're going to
work. Welcome. Today is Pineapple Day. I do have, somebody asked how many different pairs, and I'm pretty sure there were 100 different styles, and we've sent out several sets of 100 different styles. So I'm actually really surprised I haven't seen more duplicates show up here in our group. Yesterday's glasses I was able to quilt in, and I actually think I can in this color glasses too. So, okay, so a quick reminder before I do get to the quilting part. All of the designs that I teach in my classes, I do create these companion workbooks. So this is the companion workbook for this class, the 9 Patchalong 5.0. Block number 6 is what we're working on today. So when you open the design workbook, you can scan this. Can't see it because I'm backwards, but you can scan this QR code. Am I in the right
You're perfect.
area? With your smart device, and it'll actually take you right to that full lesson video that I was just talking about. So it's pretty cool. You can actually watch the lesson, take notes here in your design workbook. You can draw, do whatever you want, and then come back to that for reference in the future. You know, if you're like me, I'll quilt a design and then probably forget about it. So I'll pull out my old workbooks when I start a new quilt and find inspiration from other designs that I've quilted in the past. And I know there's a few of you that have been sharing on your 9 Patchalongs that you've been quilting some of the blocks from my past versions of the 9 Patchalong and even my block a day stitch along, and I love seeing those. So keep sharing your progress in our Peace and Quilt Show and Tell Facebook group. We love seeing it. Before I go to the quilting, tomorrow's live follow-up video will also be hosted at 9 a.m. Mountain Time here on YouTube. On Monday, we're not going to be having an actual live video, but I am dropping I'm calling it a live-ish, and I am dropping that Monday morning as well, and everything will make sense when you read or watch that video. So let's hop down to my machine and let's talk a little bit about block number 6. So block number 6 is a design that you could quilt out using the Sway 3 and Sway 4 machine quilting rulers without doing any markings, because we're using the reference points here that the blocks give us. And this is something I'm often doing in my machine quilting. I'm using the reference lines on my rulers, lining those up with what my blocks give me, and I just jump right into my quilting. With this block though, on the areas that you quilt the smaller 3-inch circles, When I was quilting my second version here, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to do the least amount of quilting and see, kind of put my shoes in like a beginner position. As I was quilting this, obviously I think that marking helps because you can see exactly what you're doing and where your stitching should be. But with a design like this, when I quilt these 3-inch circles, I'm going to be traveling here along my ditch and then starting in this circle. If I've not done any marking, I don't really know exactly where in this area my 3-inch circle is going to begin. So for this block, I found it was super helpful to just run through the block, grab my Sway 3 machine quilting ruler, line up this T right here on the hook end of the Sway 3 machine quilting ruler on top of the intersection there. Line up those lines and add a few markings. So I just actually did a couple of them here. If you mark two kind of opposite sides, you'll get the majority of that circle. But now I know as I'm quilting my straight line along the stitch, I'll know exactly where to stop and start using my Sway 3 machine quilting ruler. So let's jump right into that. We'll start with the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler. I'm going to use this ruler to quilt a full circle next. So I'm going to be lining up the ruler so that this center marked line through the ruler lays right on top of my ditch. Once I lay it there, I'll engage my machine, apply gentle pressure, and glide around the side of the ruler. I swear, I like get nervous or something, and then my thread senses it. Because I quilted all this again and not a single thread break. And then I start these, and it breaks.
Some things never change.
I know, guys, I get nervous. Okay, so once I get over here, I'll stop with my needle in the down position, readjust, and continue stitching. So then once I get back to the bottom of that circle, stop with your needle in the down position, and this is where I'm going to stitch to that marked circle. So I'll stitch right up my ditch to that marked circle, stop with my needle in the down position. Then I'll again use the markings on the Sway 3 when I'm quilting. So I'm lining up those again, just more reference points. Often I'll quilt either a quarter or a half of the way around my circle, stop with the needle in the down position, and often I'll stop like on the ditch with my needle in the down position. I find that that's like a really good reference for me. And because I have marked, I'm going to switch now to the concave side of the ruler. But in the lesson video, I do talk a bit about using a few more of these markings on the Sway 3 machine quilting ruler, lining those up to stitch your perfect curve. So again, make sure you go check out that full lesson video. Okay, so I've stitched right back to where I started. Now again, I'm going to use my ditch to travel. Stop with my needle in the down position. Put my ruler where I need it, apply gentle pressure. Stop with your needle in the down position, and you'll notice my stopping is pretty fast and pretty quick. I have a lot of experience. There's nothing wrong with stopping, disengaging your machine, readjusting, and then starting again. This is not a race. So again, I've stitched right back to where I began that circle, and then I'll continue on stitching in the ditch. Now, obviously in the lesson video, I show you how to go through and quilt the rest of the block, the full block. Here, I just wanted to show you how to quilt a few of these circles. Okay, so I hope you're all able to find a little bit of inspiration from today's block. One common question I do get when I'm talking about marking, and especially marking on darker fabrics like I'm doing here. My very favorite marking tool is the blue Mark Be Gone marker. I've had really great success removing this marking pen. When removing, I'm mixing 1 cup of filtered water, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Just a word of advice to everybody out there. If you're going to be marking and you're at all worried, always test before you begin. So if it is like a client quilt that you're quilting on and you're worried that their fabrics maybe weren't pre-washed, they're not high quality fabrics, there's a possibility they could bleed, definitely go through and check ahead of time. And if it's something that you're doing for a client, you also want to communicate with your clients before you do any marking, or make sure that everybody's on the same page. Okay, so once I have my markings complete, my quilting complete, I love instant gratification, then I mist away that. Sometimes your markings can soak down into your batting, even into your backing. So often with mine, I'm going to remove my markings several times. Like if they come back up as the quilt dries, then I'm going to mist it again. Sometimes you might, if you've marked really heavily, you may even need to wash the quilt. You can block it to dry it. There's all sorts of different ways that you can dry your quilts after. Okay, so the other one though, if you are using dark fabrics and you're not having good success with the white, whoa, good thing I have safety goggles on here. If you're not having good success with the blue marked Be Gone, the white one is another great option. And we do have these available on our website, peaceandquilt.com. Any other questions?
No, pretty good stuff.
All right, friends. Well, we'll be back tomorrow for block number 8 at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. See you then.